The Influencer's Edge is brought to you by the Rapid Sales Accelerator. If you're ready to skyrocket your sales by 30% or more in just 90 days, then you need to claim your free training right now. You'll learn 4 words that will compel your prospects to trust you like they were children within the first 3 to 5 minutes of any conversation across any platform and any medium. You'll learn how to give your prospects objection amnesia, to crush objections like, I need to talk to my spouse, or I need more time to think it over, or it's too expensive. If you'd like to claim your free training now, go to www.paulrossbook.com. Do it before your competition does it now. Welcome to the Influencer's Edge. This is the place where you come to get the latest breakthroughs, cutting-edge insights, tools, and techniques to leapfrog over the pack in sales, persuasion, and influence. Be sure you visit our website at www.theinfluencersedge.com. And while you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now sit back, tune in, and enjoy today's episode. Welcome back to the Influencer's Edge podcast. Now, you know this is the show that disconnects the dots, colors outside the lines, and thinks outside the box. Let's see if our guest can live up to that today. Hello, Ryan. My guest is Ryan Dohrn. We were shooting the shit before the show.
There you
We
go.
were talking about cats and other good and interesting things. I'll go through the bio, although I think the bio is just a pacifier for the audience. So Ryan Dohrn, you're an Emmy winner. What did you win an Emmy for?
Chicago sales and marketing promotion for ABC TV in Chicago before I got smart and moved south where it's warmer.
Wait, they give Emmys for marketing promotions? I thought
I was doing the promotions and sales marketing for a show called 190 North in Chicago. And there's local Emmys, national Emmys, and so that Emmy was in Chicago. And my son, who's 23, he said, "You won that like in the late '90s. You still hanging your hat on that Emmy?" And I said, "Do you have one?"
my sister has 3 or 4, as a matter of fact.
Nice, love
So
it,
there.
love it.
Neener.
Yep, there you
She
go.
does. Okay, you're a global billion-dollar sales coach.
Yep,
Come on, billion?
billion with a B. People can mess it up. They'll say million. I'm like, no, it's got a B in the in the front of it. But I want to be really clear. I didn't sell all that. That accounts, big accounts of mine that I work with. But it's not hard when I had the opportunity last year to work with Waste Management. One of the biggest companies in the world. So it's not terribly difficult to get to that billion number with those circumstances. But what's different about me, Paul? I actually sell stuff every day. Most trainers and coaches, the old saying, if you can't do it, then you become a coach. I
Yeah,
spend half of my life selling, and that's how I feed my family more than speaking and coaching.
cool. Okay, I'll buy it. Guided over 200 companies across 15 industries. You hold a Psychology of Leadership certification from Cornell University. What is Psychology of Leadership exactly mean?
Yeah,
What
so
is
it
it?
was,
Screw that question.
yeah.
Let's strike it from the record. What does leadership mean to you?
Well, to me, is guiding people to the success that they truly feel that that we want them to achieve, and really giving people a really good guide path and a guide forward. I find that I function well with visionary style leaders, not as many taskmasters. But over the course of my career, if I see people grow, I feel like I've achieved, my job. And it's not as much about the end goal for me as much as it is about the activities to get to that goal,
All right,
because I think people screw up goals all the time. So,
you mentioned visionary.
mhm.
So I consider myself a visionary, which means I'm incredibly disorganized. What is a visionary to you?
Well, I feel like a visionary is somebody that knows the general direction that they want something to go. They feel like I need that house painted, but they're not somebody that tells me exactly how to do that job.
Right.
And that's what I see, and that's really what I enjoy. Now, I do struggle though a little bit. I'll be honest with you, Paul. I work with some groups that they do what's referred to as the results-oriented work environment, ROWE, ROWE, results-oriented work environment. They don't care what you do and how you do it as long as the end goal is met. Well, that to me is like, well, yeah, but what if they paint the house wrong? Then they got to start over. And all those companies just said, yeah, well, there's mile posts and guardrails along the way. But I just function really well when I can point somebody in the right direction and kind of get out of their way is what I find.
Makes sense. You're featured monthly on Forbes.com as a member of the Forbes Business Development Council.
It's a really big deal. It's a really, really big deal.
I think so too. You enjoy good coffee, me too.
I did.
80s rock music. Give me a tune. What is
Yeah, I would say that I like Toto in Africa. I like Men at Work. I like all Depeche Mode. I like all, but I also like the rock and roll part of it, like Def Leppard. But I do like Skinner in that. But Skinner, I think that's 70s, isn't it? 70s, Skinner and
Oh man,
those
I
guys.
just remember Elton John, and
Oh,
we're really dating ourselves here.
yeah, I was gonna say, what were you listening to in high school?
I was listening to the Bullies beat the shit out of me.
There you go. You turned out okay.
All right, so let's just dive into that's interesting. Making small changes when this is something you put in the description of the show.
Sure.
Taking a strategic approach to reaching goals, changing mindset, making small changes and building on them.
Yep.
Let's talk about that because a
You bet.
lot of people there, in my experience, there's two opposite poles. There are people who just think there's nothing I can do about it. Then there's the people who are told anything's possible, just set your mind to it. They
Right.
set huge goals and they just can't get there.
Correct.
So when we talk about small steps, how that's a vague term, and I
Yeah.
know it's vague, but what
Yeah.
do you consider to be a small step?
So I feel like people feel like they need to make big changes in order to have big things happen in their life. And Paul, I just don't see that. I just don't, I don't agree with it. And I don't see it. What I find is people setting unrealistic goals without mini goals, and they just don't reach them. So one of the stats that I kind of hang my hat on when I'm speaking is, and you may be aware of this, and so may your listeners. So something like, I don't have the number in front of me, 86% of people fail at their New Year's resolutions by the 26th of January.
Yeah.
Well, why is that? Well, maybe because they were making resolutions when they were smashed, on New Year's Eve. That could be. The other thing though is I think that people don't set the mini goals and do the small things that need to be done to get to the bigger things.
Sounds likely to me.
Yeah, and so what I try to say to folks is a goal without mini goals is just a dream because there's steps to get to that point. So it's easy to say, I need to lose 20 pounds. That's easy to say. But the small step would be step number one, stop putting so much crap in your mouth. Okay, that'd be the first step. Put the right stuff in your mouth, right? The second step, mini goal, might be not eating after 9 o'clock, for example. The third mini step might be, stop snacking after 9 o'clock or get your butt to the gym or whatever it is. So what I find is with salespeople and with entrepreneurs is a lot of the little steps are missing because they've got a big goal. Like I want to create an app. I want to create an AI company. I want to do this. I want to do that. Okay, great. But there's like 70 micro steps before you actually get to that point.
But Ryan, isn't that why we have operations managers and people who do the tech piece and who can take apart process?
Yeah, you're really what I feel you're talking about more is the delegation of responsibility,
Yes. Yeah.
as opposed to the personal responsibility that people have when they're trying to set goals that they can achieve them. So,
Yeah. You're
so
correct.
you're right though. A big goal could be increasing production by 25%. Well, what does that mean? What are the three mini steps to get to that? One would be allocating that responsibility to Bob, allocating that to Julie, allocating that to Brandon, right? But for me personally, I look at it more as a personal journey. And that's why I'm an entrepreneur and not so great at running bigger companies because my brain operates in entrepreneurial mode all the time, which is I should do all this myself. So if I don't have mini goals, which is wrong, by the way, if I don't have mini goals myself, I can't get a whole lot done either. And so the mini goals for me would be things like making sure that I allocate time each day to important tasks to my sales life, making sure my subject lines are only 3 words, making sure my emails are no more than 3 sentences, not getting lost in Chat GPT and spending 9 freaking hours on it every day, that kind of thing. But I just want people to think about, your listeners to think about what's the big goal? Great. What are the mini goals to get to that? And so there's a lot of small changes that can have a big, big impact on your life. For example, realized my hair was thinning, and I'm like, what the world is going on? Maybe you're just getting old. Started researching online, realized I was missing a couple of nutrients in my diet. Got those nutrients fixed, and I'm back to having hair again. Small changes that, yeah, I'll send you the link to it, my Amazon link to it.
Oh,
Paul.
thanks a lot.
Small,
What are you implying?
yeah. Small changes can have really, really big impacts on it. And you've heard of the butterfly effect.
Yeah.
Everybody has. So that just tells you one flutter of a butterfly's wings can start a tsunami. So I think it's the small things that people need to figure out. You just need to get it figured out. That's
All
an
right.
exaggerated example, by the way.
This sounds like a obvious answer, an obvious question.
Sure.
You talk a lot about psychology and sales. It
Yeah.
seems self-evident
Yeah.
that that's
I,
important.
I sure wish it was. I sure wish it was. It's not to most people. I was just on a group coaching call with a group of folks from Nebraska, wonderful folks. You can break down most people into three categories, and I'll let you tell me how deep you want to get into this.
Dumb,
Most people,
dumber, and clueless.
and that's true. Yeah, ego-driven people, logical-driven people, emotional-driven people. Now, the FBI, I do a presentation that is all about FBI profiling in sales.
We've had
But
them
when you,
on. We've had profilers and
oh,
CIE
cool,
people. X,
nice,
or so they say.
nice, nice. Be careful what we say. I'm sure they're still listening.
Oh, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. When you break it down, I feel like most of those folks break into three categories. And so when we're working with people to build relationships, whether it's personal, private, business, or whatever, is kind of really recognizing who they are and living in their shoes and living in their world. So if I'm trying to sell to somebody that's very logical, it's pretty obvious when someone's logical. Then I need to be a lot more fact driven. If I'm selling to somebody that's emotional, I need to tell a lot more stories. I need to reduce risk. If I'm selling to somebody that's an egomaniac, I mean, well, what the heck are we going to do? I mean, they're just going to tell you what they want you to do or what they want you to know. And so I find that if we can break those things down, that psychology down, then we can get further faster with them. Like, for example, you probably get these too. I get solicitations that are the worst. They're just the freaking worst solicitations. It'll be like, hey, Ryan, if you're not interested in this email, reply with profanity. Like, what is this? I mean, I'm an emotional buyer. I'm pretty easy to sell to. Just tell me who else is using your product. Tell me how much is it and keep it really simple. I don't need all of this cleverness, around me in my sales life. And so what I try to do is help groups understand or entrepreneurs understand there's three types of buyers. And so you want to make sure your messaging is targeted correctly to that type of, to the type of buyer. So I think psychology is kind of everything in sales. One of the things that is very important today in 2025, 2026, time. People have no respect for others' time. And because of that, every meeting doesn't have to be freaking 60 minutes. So I teach a program where you can sell almost anything in 15 minutes. People are like,
That's
no
all the
way.
time you have. No, I believe you because people, one of the things I say is it's not enough to get people to trust you. Now they have to trust their own ability to make a good decision. One of the reasons they can't is they don't have the focus to do it. A good decision requires focus. But now, I don't know, we're about the same age. Maybe you're a little younger. I don't know. It's all the new hair you've grown.
Yeah,
But do you remember
there.
when YouTube started in 2006 and the ads were 90 seconds long and you couldn't
Mhm.
click off? Can you
Right.
imagine a 90-second ad on
People
YouTube
would
now?
revolt. They'd throw a brick through their TV. They'd stop watching TV or
Right,
whatever the circumstances. They'd
right,
close their computer. Yeah, yep.
right.
So
Yeah.
what I try to tell folks is you got maybe 10 seconds to build quick trust with somebody. And the way that you test that is get on an airplane. You'll know exactly if you can build how quickly and good you are at building quick trust with folks. And because you get on that plane and inevitably somebody's like, "Hey, buddy, what do you do for a living?" And my response to that is always the same. I usually turn to them and say, "I'm a professional assassin," and you?
I tell
People,
them I tell them I'm an underwear model and a hitman, but I had to retire because my weapon kept showing.
that's great. I love it. I love it. But that quick
Good.
trust thing is something super important to entrepreneurs to understand that we've got to build it really fast. And then we maybe have a total of 15 minutes with somebody when we're selling them to really say what we need to say. I bet you it's more like 10 minutes. And it's a different circumstance. This old school sales philosophy that's being taught by, the Brian Tracy's of the world and people like that, Jeffrey Gitomer, all these folks. It's just bad. Paul, it's bad. And they're not evolving. It's horrible. And I don't understand why people keep paying for this crap, to be honest. It's
It's
just my opinion.
Jurassic Park. Dun, dun,
Yep.
dun, 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 dun,
Yep,
dun.
exactly. And
But you know
I
what
don't,
they're good at?
what's that?
They're good at branding. They're excellent
Yeah.
at branding.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
agree.
so
I agree.
they're
I
great.
can't, and I will admit that I use their names to get more people to my podcast and YouTube channel, all that kind of happy stuff. But I know something's working when I can put up a video on YouTube that's like 3 ways to change your sales life and get 600,000 views. And they've had videos that have been online for 2 years that don't have that much. So I know what we're doing is working. It's just a matter of, can people set their personal bias aside and just do what's working as opposed to what they think works? And most people can't set the personal
Very
bias aside.
difficult. Well, you know what? That's a very, very difficult one. There's a brilliant book called The Scout Mindset by Julia
Yep.
Raff. Do you know that book?
Yep. Yep.
Julia Gallant. You know it?
I do.
You've read it, I'm assuming.
I have not read it, but I did read the
Gotta
summary of
read
it.
it. You've
Okay.
got to read it. It is a
Will do.
brilliant way of looking at your prejudices and the difference between those and clear thinking and clear decision making. I think anyone in any field of influence needs to read that book.
I'll
Okay.
check it out.
All right.
But
I
that's the
agree with
psychology piece.
Why are you so against this saying work smarter, not harder? I think
Oh
we
my
need to
gosh.
work deeper and reach people's subconscious mind. That's my view.
I
But
love that.
let's hear your answer.
Well, I hate the phrase. I mean, I also hate the phrase "the new normal." I think that's crap. You know what I know a word I hate more than almost anything? Pivot. The word pivot makes me want to just punch somebody. I hate that word pivot, pivot, pivot. Everyone says that. So working smarter, not harder, does not apply in the sales world, in my opinion, because in most jobs, when you work smarter, you actually get a lot more done, so you don't have to work hard. In sales, we're paid usually with commission. So the harder you work, typically the more money you make. So what most salespeople do is they try to work smarter and not harder. What salespeople need to do is work ridiculously smart and work ridiculously hard.
Right.
Instead, they're trying to
Oh,
work less and be smarter doing it. Unfortunately, in sales, it doesn't usually work that way. You can be efficient, but it's just not a phrase that should be said amongst sales organizations.
I love that you tackle trite shibboleths that other people just accept as true. I'm the same way.
Yeah, yeah, it's part of my DNA, and I think I listened to a couple of your shows. I think it's part of your DNA as well. But I also just like to call bull when I see it. It's just tiring, man. It just gets so tiring. Well, hey Ryan, my team's looking to work smarter, not harder. How
Hey,
about if they work really smart and work really hard?
hey,
How about if you give them a path?
the emperor has no clothes and he's got a micro penis.
Isn't that the truth?
This is not a family show.
Yes, there you
I
go.
get
Yeah, we've got the
my
rating.
show. We don't always interview people that have anything to do with sales. I just think they're interesting. And
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
you can
It's
always unsubscribe. Fuck you. And
right. Yeah.
there we
Yeah.
go.
Well,
You
don't you
probably
feel
know.
like, Paul, I feel like we have to be candid because statistically, those that are candid tend to be the smarter amongst us. The other thing is, it's very scientifically proven. The people in the past that are big time leaders, like the Churchills of the world, they cussed like beyond sailors. And I have a sailor in my family, so I know how they talk. So,
Okay.
hey, if you meet somebody that cusses a lot, usually they have superior intelligence. So you're definitely of a superior intelligence, Paul.
Now you have a sales app. Is that true?
I do. I do. So one of the
Oh,
things I find is that a lot of people lack motivation sales wise on a regular basis. And so I went through this. If anyone says to you, you know what you need to do, Paul, you need to build an app. You tell them to go screw off and find somebody else to play with because it is the most painful process I have ever been through. And I've been through a lot of pain. It is awful. because of all the people that are crappy out there that take advantage and steal and cheat people. So what we did is I'm recording 1 to 2 minute tips that pop up on that app every day. And the one today was, I don't feel like selling today. How about you? What do you do on days when you don't feel like selling? So that's really where the app came from, the coaching app. It's free for folks. They can download it and check it out. And I feel like daily motivation is what a lot of the salespeople need, because it's tough right now. Sales sucks right now. It's really, really rough, because people are economically and politically uncertain. And when people's brains are mush the way they are right now, you can't hardly sell them anything. And people's brains are mushy, whether you like Trump or not. People's
I
brains
think
are
they've
mushy.
been, I don't know what's got to do with Trump. I think they've been mushy. I think people are numbed out, dumbed down, and sophisticated, which is paradoxical, but they've seen it all before.
Yeah,
If you're doing what your competition is doing, then it becomes a foot race to get to the prospect first, which is exhausting and could
right.
require a bigger budget.
Yep,
We're
yep.
actually at the end of our time. Our customers, excuse me, my audience is going to want to know how to stay in the conversation with you, Ryan. So how do they do that?
I'd love that. Well, first of all, you need me have me back on your show more often. Then we'll do that. We'll talk about
Well,
stuff.
you need to have me back on your podcast.
Okay, I like it. We just don't swear on mine though, so you have to. I don't know. You have to put on
All
your
right,
priest
I can
outfit.
put it. I can put my nice guy filter on. No, I'm not a nice guy. Fuck
No.
that.
Hey, I'd love for people just to go to on their phone to whatever app store they use. My last name is Dohrn, and search for Ryan Dohrn. Download that app. But over at ryandohrn.com, I've got free resources for folks, and I'm a serial entrepreneur. I know people say it flippantly. We have started, bought, sold 14 different businesses, and still keep going strong. And I just launched a nonprofit last week. So I feel like I'm well equipped to guide people down the right direction. But thank you, Paul. I appreciate you so much for having me on the show.
It's down for a brief green room chat. Well, once again, another great guest, and we close out the show as we always do to the hostile alien armada hovering in your cloaked spaceships just outside of Earth's atmosphere. Remember, eat the Canadians first; they're tastier. And we'll see you on the next episode.
The Influencer's Edge is brought to you by the Rapid Sales Accelerator. If you're ready to skyrocket your sales by 30% or more in just 90 days, then you need to claim your free training right now. You'll learn 4 words that will compel your prospects to trust you like they were children within the first 3 to 5 minutes of any conversation across any platform and any medium. You'll learn how to give your prospects objection amnesia, to crush objections like, I need to talk to my spouse, or I need more time to think it over, or it's too expensive. If you'd like to claim your free training now, go to www.paulrossbook.com. Do it before your competition does it now. Thank you for tuning in to the Influencer's Edge, where you get the latest breakthroughs, cutting-edge insights, tools, and techniques so you can leapfrog over the pack at sales, influence, and persuasion. Remember to visit our website at www.theinfluencersedge.com to enjoy even more great episodes like this one. We look forward to seeing you again on the Influencer's Edge Show.